I'm Rick.
Alice.
Skip.
Joyce.
Lee. Jack.
Bill.
Ruth.
Don.
Dorsey. Dave. Jim. Okay, great. And let me know too that let's see, Bill Joyner in the room is on our board, and Joyce asked for a long time connected with one of our member organizations. So, first of all, in case you don't know, our homeless coalition has been around since 1984. We were started by the same group of people that started the drop-in center, as well as Restock, as well as Peasley Neighborhood Center. So we come from that same family of organizations. And the reason that we were started, and in fact, if you hop on the internet and search Homeless Coalition, you will find out that nearly every coalition like ours started between 1982 and 1990. Some of you heard me say this before, but in case you haven't heard it, in 1982, in the whole country, the whole year, it was estimated that between 250,000 and 500,000 different people experienced homelessness. And it was very much what today is a stereotype, but then was true. The middle-aged man addicted to something and or suffering from mental illness. The Ronald Reagan administration changed all of that, and not for the good. His administration slashed the E-term safety net services, and with his trickle-down theory, the idea if we put it at the top somehow it will work its way down. I think what most people have learned is that we don't get very wealthy CEOs because they like to give it away. It doesn't work its way down. So in 1982, whole country, whole year, 250,000, 500,000 people. By 1986, the estimation was at 3 million people. And it's continued to rise since then. So, if you look at our member organizations, you'll see that a whole bunch of them were formed in those years in local church basements. And my conception of it is that in 1984, they looked at the situation, they said, more people are flooding our doors than we know how to handle. It's no longer a personal responsibility issue or a mental health issue or an addictions issue primarily. It's a systems issue. The system just keeps putting people out of their homes. And so we have to coalesce our power and go after the system. And so that's what we've been doing since then. So to keep explaining, our organization has 3 main parts. One part we call allocation of services, and that's really our membership. We right now have just over 50 organizations that are a part of us in Hamilton County. That's the organizations like Drop-In Center, Bethany House Services, that's a family shelter, Soup Kitchen, clothing, job training, spiritual, the list goes on and on and on. All the places you've heard of and the ones you haven't are part of us, so we work together. The second part of this is education. And typically when you put the word education and homelessness in the same sentence, the general public assumes it's about educating people who are experiencing homelessness, but we're quite sure they know about it. And so it is educating the general public. We are confident that if you're this normal Jack and Jane out there, know the truth about homelessness, that they hopefully will want to do something about it. And so we aspire to change stereotypes. Our primary program in that is Speakers Bureau. Folks who are currently or have in the past experienced homelessness are out in our city and county telling their experience, and we pay them to do that because we value their work. We also bring in students from around the country to live and work with us for short periods of time, immerse them with education so that hopefully they go back and they get involved where they live, or they change their career paths, or something like this, so that we have people that fight this fight. And then finally is our advocacy and organizing. Of course, advocacy we do in, say, one of our member organizations or a particular person or group of people is attacked by the system, if you will, or by a particular entity, and they, for whatever reason, don't have the ability to speak up about it. And so we we do all of that. So I'll move into current events unless there's any questions about that perspective. Okay, great. So I think the first thing that I'm going to address, because it's terribly current, is the animal Inn. I'm pretty sure the last couple times that I've spoken in this room, and almost every room I've mentioned the animal Inn. Just to make sure everybody's on the same page, one of our member organizations is called Cincinnati Union Bethel. They own and operate the Animal Inn, which is actually just a block from here in Michael Park. The building provides safe, affordable housing to single women and has done so since 1909 when the Taft family donated it. And in fact, just to put it in perspective, the Taft Museum, you know this, was their home. The Lila Park was their front yard, and so they built this building in their front yard, which means that they, to me, I think they took it seriously. And so, 3 years ago, Cincinnati Union Bethel said, you know, our building's 100 years old, we need to do some renovation to it to keep it sustainable. And they applied for permitting to the city to do these renovations. Around the same time, they had discussions with Western Southern, the insurance giant across the park. The Western Southern offered to purchase the building at a rate that was far less than it was worth. Wisely, the board at that time, Cincinnati Union Bethel, said, no, we will not sell for that amount. And after permitting, and also they applied for what's known as historic tax credits from our state government, Western Southern sued them. And so the first question is, if you own your home, I live next to you, I offer to buy, you say no, and then I sue you, how can I do that? How do I have any merit whatsoever? The way that they created merit was, well, one, they timed their filing such that they got the judge that they wanted, Judge Norbert Nagel. And two, they sued based on zoning. So in that part of our city, shelters are not allowed, and they claim that the building is a shelter and therefore not allowed. If you've been in Animal Inn, the women have separate rooms, they pay rent, it's not a shelter. Just common sense can say that. The expert witness for Western Southern argued on the stand that if any quote homeless person walks into any structure at any time, it suddenly becomes a shelter. Which I took particular offense at because, and of course they're saying the shelter is a bad thing to have a place where you want to prosper. To me, it's the equivalent of saying that somebody who is quote homeless is so dirty and so infected, and they walk in a room and they infect everything around them, and it becomes this nasty homelessness. And that's what I took it to be, and that's how they acted out. And the judge bought the argument and found in favor of Western Southern, and Louisiana appeals court after months issued a decision that wasn't very helpful. They kicked it back to the same judge. This whole time,